This is an informational and instructional video on how to set up the osmopro stacking planters. Osmopro stacking planters are a wonderful way to have self-watering systems that could grow herbs and vegetables and berries and flowers, and because it has a 5-gallon reservoir capacity, it can provide water to the plants that you plant in these planters for up to a week. If you want to leave things for a month, you can install a larger tank. The stacking planter is equipped with a submersible pump that pumps water up through a clear pipe up into the bird bath. Then the water trickles back down through a series of cups. Now these cups basically have within them felt wicks, and the wicks wick and carry the water out to feed the plants that are in the planters. Now, with this system, it makes a lot of sense to put fertilizer in your water solution because then you just continuously feed your plants and you get uninterrupted growth. Take a look at this little cartoon diagram. It shows you the water flow. Now, we haven't put the planters in there just to make it easier to see. Basically, you can see that the water goes up to the very top to the bird bath. Then the bird bath trickles it down through the series of cups. The wicks are inserted into the cups and then carry the water and nutrients out to the plants. This is a continuous watering and feeding system. It's very efficient. Nobody wants to water plants every day. For those of you that don't like to water, this is the system for you. If you order this system from us, this is a picture of what you'll get in your box. Basically your submersible pump, your stacking planters, your base reservoir, your cover, and the wicks. Now begins the instructional part of this video on how to put the system together. The first step in assembling your system is going to be to attach your clear plastic hose to the delivery side of the submersible pump. This is fairly easy. The end of the pipe just slides over that little delivery line, that post. And then once you've got it on, you just string the other end through your cover. And for the electrical line cable, you basically pull it through your the watering hole in the cover. Then you pull it out to that little slot so that it doesn't get in the way of your water hose when you're trying to fill the tank. The reason that we put the cover down on the ground instead of over the base tank is so that we can wash it out. Wash it out without getting any soil or potting soil down into the base tank, because you don't want to plug up the pump. Now the second step is going to be to bolt the cover and the first planter together. Now if you look, there's one planter that's marked as a B. That's a B for the base, and there are 3 holes, one in each of the pots themselves. The little holes are marked 1, 2, 3, and they correspond with the 1, 2, 3 holes that are on the cover. So all you have to do is match those up, and you've got 3 bolts there, 3 little bolts. Basically what you want to do is make sure that you have a washer on the top and the bottom. So you want a washer on the under the head of the bolt, and then a washer behind the nut. And so you got 2 washers and 1 nut on each bolt. So Mr. Butterfingers there is working on showing you how to do it. Bolting the planters to the cover helps to keep it from knocking over in the wind. Now the next step is going to be to actually thread your wicks into the clear cups that come with your system. Now the clear cups have 3 holes to match up with the 3 individual pots in each planter, and what we do is just thread the felt wicks into those holes, and then they come out the bottom of the cup, which has a big opening in it for the water to run down through to the next set of cups. Now, in order to thread your wicks into the clear cups, it pays, and it's actually easier to wet your wicks first. So instead of doing it dry like I'm doing in this video, it's a lot better to put them in water first. Then it's a lot easier to thread them into the cups. It doesn't take much time at all. And basically what you want to do is thread them in so about 1/4 of the felt is inside the cup and 3/4 is outside the cup. Now in this video, what I do is once I get them into the cup, then I dip them into water, and that makes it easier then to deal with the wicks, and they hang down properly. The wicks actually perform a very important function in the system because the plant roots can basically dig into those wicks and pull just the amount of water and nutrients that they need. We actually have a hydroponic system that uses nothing but wicks and the osmoponic pull of the plant to feed itself. Now the next step is going to be to place the cover over the clear hose. Yeah, and what I do is loop the wicks into the inside of the cup. That makes it a lot easier to thread through, and you just pull your clear pipe through, and then you push that cup down so that it kind of locks down into that hole. And what you want to do is make sure that each wick is lined up with the cup, with the growing pot, as you can see there. Okay, so with that done, in the next step, what we want to do is now to begin to put potting soil or whatever we're going to use as a media into our planters. And the most important thing is to start out by putting some soil media or your potting soil just underneath the wick. What that does is it makes the wick move in an upward direction from the hole in the cup. And that is extremely important, because if you don't have the wick going upward from the cup, what can happen is the wick can actually siphon water out of the cup, and your system just drips and drips and drips and drips, and you have too much water in it. You lose too much water, you have to refill it too often. So the plant will actually still deal with that, because what it'll do, it'll differentiate its root system. Yeah, if you look at this diagram that I've put in here, you can see the correct and the wrong way to put in your felt. Now we can start planting. And for example, if you're planting strawberries, you got to be careful about how deep you plant them, but a lot of things aren't that important. What you want to do is just make sure you get plenty of media in there to hold them up and to press firmly around them. So I'm using strawberries as an example because that's what I have. Okay, I'll speed this little part up for you so that you don't die of boredom. One thing we want to do now, like I said, the reason that you want to do this down on the ground is you want to be able to wash your cups out in case you've gotten any potting soil down in them. That keeps the pump clean. So here we are just washing it out and also re-wetting the wicks. If you want to, you can water the plants at this point too. So the next step is going to be to place the cover on the base planter. Now, don't laugh at my fumbling around. The main thing is to get your pump down in the bottom of that reservoir, and then to make sure that your cable and your pipe are in the right position. Next step is going to be to plant your second planter. Okay, so we've got our first one on. You plant your second planter the same way. Stack it on, pull the clear pipe up through the middle. Make sure that your cups are properly situated down in each one of the planters as you go. And just keep going with the system, stacking one on top of the other. Now I'm having a little trouble here because I've got large plants in these planters, but if you have little seedlings, it's quite easy. It goes very quickly. Now you can have we sell either a 6 or a 8 planter system, and for the purpose of this video I'm using a 6 planters high, but you can also do 8. Now in the next step here, what you're going to want to do is pull your clear hose up through the top and then install your bird bath. And this is actually easier than you might think. Inside there's a black fitting that you want to slide the clear tube up onto. So when you pull that tube up, you're actually lifting the pump out of the base and you're pushing it into that black fitting that's inside. Then you want to sit it down properly on top of your cup. Now you're going to go ahead and fill up your tank. After you fill up your tank, you can put that plug in, push the cable to the back and put your plug in. Then go ahead and plug in. I was messing with my wife pretending I got electrocuted, but anyway, plug the pump in and it should start working. And you can see the water starting to run. All right, well, enjoy.